right, Cub Scout families. I wanted to take a moment to show you some of the options available to you. We're really encouraging our families to engage with their Cub Scouts and do a lot of the different Cub Scout adventures and activities at home together. We do things in the den setting and in the pack setting, but really where it comes alive is at home. And so we want to give you guys the tools to be able to make that happen. So the first thing to do is like, well, what do you need to do? Like, what are the requirements and things like that? So a lot of times I just do a quick search. So maybe Tiger Cub Scout Adventures, right? So do a quick search. It'll take you to this website through Scouting America. And this has all the Tiger adventures. Everything in color is required. The ones that are just orange are the electives. And so you might decide, hey, I want to work on this belt loop, this adventure with my kid some random weekend. So maybe you're thinking like, oh, we'll do stories and shapes. So you click on that. There we go. All right, so here's the 4 requirements for this adventure. And then if you scroll down a little lower, it gives you suggested activities. You don't have to do these activities. So for example, requirement 1 says explore art in your community. That could mean a lot of different things. They just give you some suggestions here. And you know, the suggestions have these different ratings as well. So it kind of like gives you an idea of like what kind of energy level is required from the scouts, how long might it take to prep for this activity or things like that. So it kind of gives you an idea. If you're looking for something quick to do, maybe find something that's like a 1 for prep time, right? But we're going to kind of scroll down here to requirement 3, create a piece of art using shapes. And then there's 4 different options, right, that they kind of suggest. This one, I did this one with my daughter when she was a Tiger Scout. Super easy. At that time, I had to buy tangrams from Amazon, but in this case, they have the materials for you, right? So we click on this, kind of scroll down, and we even come down to additional resources. And so right here, they have a cutout, so use a colored printer, print this out, cut out the shapes, and then you can put this next to the scout and say, hey, okay, we're going to make some of these animals, right? And so using using those shapes that you had cut out, you can work on it. You don't have to do all of these, right? Maybe pick a few that is their favorite, and then you're done. Super easy. So now that you're done with this requirement, well, how do you record that? So the next thing is to go into, I would recommend, I mean, it's easy to, once you kind of get the hang of it, you could go to advancements.scouting.org. Keep in mind it's the S, not advancement. And then you're going to log in. You should have a login because you registered your Scout online. So I'm going to log in here. All right, so we're going in. And then it pops up as a Cub Master. I have a lot more permissions, so I'm going to go as a parent. And then I have access to only my child's profile. So in this case, my daughter is a Weeblo, and let's say she did something, right? So let's say we were doing a build it, right? So I can come back here, scroll the way up, go to Cub Scout Adventures. Here's all the adventures for the different levels. So coming down to Weeblos, I go to build it, and then you know, we were working on one of these. So let's say we did requirement 1. And so again, it kind of gives me a breakdown of what that looks like. Kind of gives a suggest of what kind of materials you have out, maybe some of the things they should be doing on how to use a saw and screwdriver and wrenches. So anyways, so let's say we did that. So we go to build it, and let's say we did that on the 5th, okay? And we can add a comment. I did this as a practice thing, so I put in like, we learned about hammers or whatever. So whatever you want to do. Comments not required, And then you could also add a photo. So like if you were making something and you wanted to put a picture of the thing that the scout created, or you're going on a hike and you want to take a picture of, the lake that you stopped by, great. Again, it's not required. And then what you would do is you would click save, and then it would kind of sit there and um, wait for the den leader to approve it or something like that. But that's kind of how you get to these, these bars. So, my scout's been working on a couple of these. We're about halfway done with chef's knife, kind of stuff, making progress. The other thing I would recommend using, you don't have to, all right, but if you go for a hike or camping or something like that, you can log those. It doesn't have to be an official Cub Scout or den activity. You could just as a family. So let's say you did a camping trip, you can create your own, and let's say you did a camping trip Sunday, right? So create fun times, campsite, or took a whole day. We started at 10 a.m. ended at this time. We did, let's say we went to Camp Edwards. I think the details might be required, but went camping, learned fire building, or whatever. And then you come down to individual, because it was just you and your family. And you could say, hey, we did 2 days, 1 night, and then click complete activity. It would show up here, and now it's completed, but it's going to wait for approval from the den leader. So that's those are 2 quick things you could do in ScoutBook Plus that I would recommend. Kind of helps you kind of keep track of things, helps you as the parent kind of make sure your scout's getting credit for things that you're already doing as a family, or give you ideas on how to plan out structured activities for your kid, as opposed to if they just want to sit around and watch YouTube shorts or whatever. Hope that is helpful. If you have any questions, I definitely recommend reaching out to your den leader, and hope you have a fun time going on adventures and making memories with your kids.